Welcome to Puppetized Children's Church. Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter thinks that some of the things the adults do in church are kind of odd. Chitter, 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 chitter. Oh, like when they take the cracker and the juice and they pass it around and eat it and pray a lot about it. Chitter, 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 chitter.
Gong, 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 gong.
Yes?
Garrett thinks that they shouldn't have to put money in the bowl, that they should be allowed to take it.
Oh, Garrett doesn't like putting things in there. Oh, okay, that makes sense. So Porky, what do you think?
Pork, 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 pork. Oh, it doesn't make sense to Porky either, but he thinks there's a reason for it, and it'll make sense when he's older.
Oh, okay. So you think that as you get older and you learn more that you'll understand why the adults do what they do. Well, Chitter, I can at least help with the crackers and the grape juice because that's our story today. And so by the end of the story, I think you'll understand why we do it. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Yeah, and it'll make sense. Now, for Garrett to understand why we put money in, that might take a little bit longer. They need that money for the church, to pay for the electricity and the water, and to help missionaries and all sorts of people doing God's work. Yeah, they do. All right, well, our memory verse is from our story today, too. So could you tell us our memory verse, Porky?
Pork, 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 porky, porky. Do this in remembrance of me. 1 Corinthians 11:24.
Do this in remembrance of me. Garrett, do you have any idea who said that?
Gonk!
Jesus? Yeah. Jesus did say that. He said, do this in remembrance of me. Do this and think of me and remember me. Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter is not sure that it's hard or easy, that it's hard to forget Jesus. He doesn't think we should need to be worried about that. But, you know, it's good to be reminded extra times anyway. Chitter, chitter. So, let's say it together. Children. Do this in remembrance of me. 1 Corinthians 11:24. Chitter, chitter. Chitter says the puppets, the animals want to say the memory verse also. Okay. Chitter, 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 chitter.
Gong, 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 gong. Gong, 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 gong.
You say it twice. Do this in remembrance of me. I think the English works a little bit better together. Well, Garrett, you seem to have some extra energy today. Did you happen to choose a song that would use some of that extra energy? Lord's Army? Okay. All right, let's sing Lord's Army. I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never fly o'er the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! I may never march in the infantry, ride in the cavalry, shoot the artillery. I may never fly o'er the enemy, but I'm in the Lord's army. Yes, sir! Chitter, chitter. All right, we are back. So for a while now, we've been doing stories about Jesus last week before he dies and is raised from the dead. And we're going to continue to for a few more weeks. Our story today is going to explain why the adults do the cracker and juice thing at church. Chitter, chitter. Our story this week and the next few weeks is we're going to spend some extra time talking about two of the disciples in particular. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Ah, are you being John again? Chitter, chitter. No, not John. We're going to be talking some extra about Peter.
Porky.
Yeah, Porky gets to play Peter. And Judas.
Snap.
Chitter, chitter, chitter. Yeah, Judas. In fact, our story today starts with Judas. We're reading our story from the book of Mark today. Judas was one of the 12. He went to the chief priests to hand Jesus over to them. They were delighted to hear that he would do this. They wanted to arrest Jesus and catch Jesus, but they needed somebody to lead them to Jesus and show them where Jesus was. Because if they tried to arrest him when he was teaching all the people might get mad. So they needed somebody to do that. And Judas said he would. They promised to give Judas money. So he watched and waited for the right time to hand Jesus over to them.
Snap.
Yeah? What is it?
Snap,
What's
snap,
it?
snap, 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 snap.
Uh-oh. Does Clyde have a problem with this, Isaac? Do you need to translate?
Yeah, Clyde says he wants to know why Judas would want to betray Jesus.
Oh, because Jesus was nice, wasn't he?
Snap.
And you've been spending 3 years with him and learning from him? Yeah, why did Judas betray Jesus? Chitter, 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 chitter! Chitter says we should go ask Mr. Kevin. What do you think, Clyde?
Snap, snap.
Okay, we will go ask Mr. Kevin this question, and then we will come back and continue with our story.
Hey, who's over there? Oh, hey, Clyde. Oh, it's you. I haven't seen you for a while. How are you?
Snap, snap, snap.
Oh, good. Hey, wait. Whenever I see one of you other puppets, they're kids too. Ah, there they are. Yep. Hi, kids. Hey, what's up, Clyde?
Snap, 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 snap.
He says that he was Judas in this story today, and he wants to know why Judas betrayed Jesus. Jesus was nice.
Yeah, that's a really sad question, Clyde, and I'm glad you asked it because it's very important. You know, the thing about Judas is the Bible says that he loved money. He just really loved money. He wanted more money. He wanted to be rich. He wanted to be able to buy whatever he wanted. I don't know. But he just loved money. Sometimes when people gave Jesus money, they would put it into a bag. And that bag was for Jesus and for all his disciples who traveled with him to take care of them. And sometimes Judas would take out what he wanted for himself. And he didn't care what other people needed. He just took the money for himself sometimes. It was very sad. And he wasn't very honest. And so when he saw a chance to get some money by betraying Jesus and by telling the Jewish leaders where Jesus was, he did it. He did it, and he got 30 pieces of silver. And he was probably so excited because he probably felt really rich. 30 pieces of silver was a lot of money. So, yeah. But then we think maybe he thought that Jesus was going to be free. Maybe he thought they would try to catch Jesus, but Jesus would use his great power from God, and he would stop all the bad guys, and he would go free. And when Judas saw that Jesus didn't get free, and he didn't use his power, and that he was going to be killed, then Judas was very upset, and he threw the money back in the temple. He didn't want it anymore. No, but it was too late. He already did a really bad thing by betraying Jesus. And he did it, we think, for money. Yeah. Money's not a bad thing by itself. But if you make it more important to God, more important than God, then it's a really bad thing. God has to be most important. Yeah. That's a great question, Clyde.
Snap, snap.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome. Hey, how do you like my vine here? This is a kiwi vine. It makes little tiny kiwis. Yep.
Snap.
Yep. I was just checking it. It's going pretty well. All right. Hey, you want to climb a kiwi vine with me?
Snap, snap.
Oh, okay. Well, you're probably pretty busy getting the video ready for the kids. Yeah, okay. All right, well, bye, Clyde. See you next time.
Okay, a good answer as always. It was the first day of the Feast of Unleavened Bread, and that was the time to sacrifice the Passover lamb. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Oh, you want to know what the feast is and the Passover and chitter, chitter, chitter. Do you remember the story of how the Israelites were slaves in Egypt? Chitter, chitter. And God sent Moses, and they had the 10 plagues, and God saved them, and they got to leave Egypt and not be slaves anymore. Chitter! Yeah, those are exciting stories. Those are fun stories. Well, the Jews every year had a special holiday to remember when God saved them from being slaves. And it was called Passover, and they would eat special food, and they would spend some time together, and they would probably read the story. And it was one of their most special times of the year. One of the 3 times they were all supposed to go to Jerusalem to tell God thank you for something or remember God. So, it was that time of year again, in the spring. And Jesus' disciples asked him, "Where do you want us to go and prepare for you to eat the Passover meal?" Because they're in Jerusalem, but they need somewhere to go, don't they, to eat it at? They don't want to just eat it out in the street. So Jesus sent out 2 of his disciples, and he told them, "Go into the city. A man carrying a jar of water will meet you. Follow him. He will enter a house and say to its owner, 'The teacher asks, where is my guest room? Where can I eat the Passover meal with my disciples?'" Jesus gave them very specific instructions, didn't he? "And that man will show you a large upstairs room. It'll be all ready. Prepare it for us so we can eat there." Well, the disciples left and went into the city, and they found things just as Jesus had told them. So they got the Passover meal ready. Chitter, 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 chitter. Chitter wants to know if the disciples did the cooking too. You know, it says they were borrowing a room, but it doesn't say they were borrowing a kitchen. So I'm going to guess that some of Jesus' other friends probably helped with the cooking. I don't know. John, do you think you were probably a very good cook? Chitter, 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 chitter. You may have been too busy traveling around listening to Jesus, huh? When the evening came, Jesus arrived with the 12. While they were at the table eating, Jesus said, "What I'm about to tell you is true. One of you who is eating with me will hand me over to my enemies." The disciples were very sad, and one by one they said to him, "Chitter, chitter,
Snap.
it's not I, is it?" Jesus replied, "It is one of the 12. It is one of the ones who will dip bread into the bowl with me." Chitter, chitter. Yeah, the bowl probably had some soup or sauce in it, and they would dip their bread in it to make it yummier. "The Son of Man will go just as it is written about him." That means all the things that are written in the Old Testament are going to happen to Jesus. But Jesus also said, "How terrible it will be for the one who hands over the Son of Man. It would be better for him if he had not been born." Jesus said it would have been better if Judas hadn't been born, because what he did was so bad. Cheer, cheer, cheer. Yeah, we know Clyde's really nice. Somebody had to play the bad part, and I got to be him. While they were eating, Jesus took bread, and he gave thanks, and he broke it into pieces, and he handed it to his disciples, and he said, "Take it, eat it. This is my body." Cheer, 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 cheer. Well, do you remember how Jesus said that he was the bread of life? Cheer, cheer. Yeah, he's saying this is his body. This is their life. And he's saying he's going to give his body for them. He's going to die for them. Then he took the cup and he gave thanks and handed it to them, and they all drank from it. And he said, "This is my blood of the new covenant. It is poured out for many. And what I'm about to tell you is true. I won't drink it again with you until the day I drink it in God's kingdom." Cheer, cheer, cheer. Yeah, sometimes Jesus was a bit confusing. But he said it was his blood. Cheer, cheer. Yeah, it was so they could remember how he would die for them. Now, they didn't understand yet what was going on, but they would later. And our memory verse actually comes from something Paul wrote about this night in 1 Corinthians. Because the church in Corinth, when they were taking the Lord's Supper, whenever they were eating the bread and drinking the juice, they weren't sharing. Chitter? They weren't sharing. The rich people weren't sharing with the poor people. And Paul was very upset with them. And so he explained to them, he told this story again about why they were taking the bread and the juice and how they were supposed to do it to remember Jesus. Cheer, cheer, cheer. Yeah, that's why the adults do it today, to remember Jesus. And that they were supposed to be sharing and thinking about each other and not being mean to each other with this thing that Jesus had told them to do. Cheer. Okay, well, we've got one more little bit to our story about Peter. When they sang a song, and then they went out to the Mount of Olives. And Judas didn't go with them. It said he left somewhere in there right before the end of the meal. I think he had the bread and the juice with Jesus, but I think he left after that. And Jesus told the disciples, "You will all turn away and leave me, but after I rise from the dead, you'll get to see me again in Galilee. Well, Peter said,
Work, 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 work.
all the others may turn away, but I won't. Jesus answered,
Gong, 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 gong.
what I'm about to tell you is true. It will happen today, tonight. Before the rooster crows, you will say 3 times that you don't even know who I am. But Peter wouldn't give in. Peter said,
Work, 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 worky.
I might have to die with you, but I will never say I don't know you. And all the other disciples said the same thing. Jesus just said that Peter's going to pretend he doesn't even know him. They're all going to run away, and they're going to say they don't know Jesus. But we will have to wait and see what happens, because that's going to happen next week in our story. Chitter, chitter, chitter. Yeah, we're going to kind of have to end in the sad places for 2 or 3 weeks until we get back to the happy part. And then we can end in a happy place. Chitter! All right, time for our craft.
So you're gonna get one sheet with, 6 squares, 2 that will match each time. Make sure to color the 2 matching ones the same colors. And then you can cut it out. And then you need tape and a pencil.
Or a pen.
Or a pencil. So you take the tape and you get a piece. And then you fold this in half,
Oh, it needs to be in the middle.
apparently in the middle. Here, you do that part.
I do this part. Okay. I'm going to tape it on the inside. Hey, I'm going to need another big piece of tape and then a little one. So I'm going to tape it to the pencil on this side. And then, wow. Okay, so it's easier when I'm not, when you're using a table, it's easier. Tape it that way. And I'm going to tape it closed because I think that'll work better. Okay, now you can show them how they work. Yeah, I think you'll do one.
And then when you hold it like this, and you flip it back and forth. You can see the bat flapping its wings. You can see Judas hiding his money. But it doesn't work so well. Flappy, flappy.
I still can't find my legs. I saw them the other day. Huh. Oh, there they are. Right down there. Look at that. I found my legs.